That's how my whole thing started out here in Vegas, was just, okay, move here on a Thursday, win the Sunday Million on a Sunday, my first Sunday on an air mattress, and this is great. What
could go wrong?
Wonderful decision.
Me and my buddy, we make it all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, guys, welcome back to Table One Podcast. Justin Young, very special co-host, Art Parman, very special. And our normal-ish guest or whatever, Brent Hanks.
Speaking of special, yeah.
He just took his helmet off so he could get in here. And
I did, rode the bus here.
A little too tall for the short bus. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good, let's get the really cancel-like jokes out of the way for this show.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're not on. They don't put us on NBC, so we say whatever we want on this one.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, Brent's been a longtime poker pro, and I wouldn't say recently, but like whatever, over the last like 5 years, a PokerGo commentator, affiliate.
Full-time employee. I'm a full-time employee.
Yeah. Benefits, baby.
Yeah, you know, I'm in there. I've got
do you have health?
real
Do
job.
you have health insurance?
Well, they offer health insurance, but I use my wife's health insurance.
Oh, she's a teacher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doing something productive for society.
Yeah, you know a lot about this.
Oh yeah, my wife's
Are you on
health
your wife's
insurance
health
is
insurance plan?
it's I don't know. I think.
Thank you, Clark County.
I pay for my own. It's so ridiculously expensive.
Got him.
It's I don't know. It's expensive for ours too.
I'm such a healthy specimen. I still have to pay so much money a month. That's crazy. All right, so most people know that you're a Bills fan, and that has to mean that you had to been born or raised in upper state New York, or like, you know, some kind of like outside the city New York, right?
You would think, yeah.
I would imagine so. Yeah, and I was born and raised in Western New York.
That's right.
Lived my whole life there. Was an actual school teacher. Had a real job prior to the poker thing.
Well, yeah. Well, so like, let's backtrack just a little bit. You went to Bonnie University. Is that?
It's not Bonnie. St. Bonaventure.
Well, we call them the Bonnies.
The Bonnies. That's exactly. I don't know what a Bonnie is, but I love it. Yes, I did go there. Western New York, right on the border of Pennsylvania, New York, and a biggest city, I guess, near that is Olean, New York. You ever heard of Olean, Art?
Nope. Keep going.
There
Give me
you
another
go.
big city.
About an hour south of Buffalo,
Hey.
an hour away from Rochester. It's kind of just right there. It's beautiful, and yeah.
So when you went to school there, was it just like, I want to be a teacher and that's what I want to do? Or
No.
were you trying for the basketball team? What were you
No,
doing?
so no, I actually I wanted to be a computer engineer, and that was what I was going after. My dad, by the way, longtime listener, big fan of the show. Shout out, Dave. Love
Shout
you,
out
Dave.
to
Dad.
Mr. Dave Hanks.
Yeah.
Mr. Dad.
Mr. Dad.
He was an administrator, a principal superintendent. I grew up in that school system with him being the guy. K through 12 building. The school was about the size of this setup you have here.
What do you mean, the Aria?
Tiny town, inside Aria. No, tiny town, like 500, 600 kids, in this town. The school was very small. So he saw me as an educator. My major was changed. I went from computer engineer to now education, and I rode the whole wave. By the way, getting a degree in education was pretty simple. You didn't have to do much. So grades were great. It was always, 3 point. Grades were fantastic. No problem.
Shout out to our wives. It was easy.
It was easy.
Anyone can do it.
If I can do it, you can do it. You can be a teacher. They don't pay shit. That's the problem with teachers.
Yeah.
You get paid nothing. My wife's a teacher here in Clark County, which I love Clark County. Have we been over this yet? I love Clark County. And the problem with teachers is they don't get paid anything, and they have to do so much, and they have so much responsibility, and they're long days, and it's so brutal. So I did that for a few years, and then the whole poker thing happened.
So how old are you?
I'm glad you asked. I will be 42 tomorrow on August 15th. I'm a
happy
Leo.
birthday.
That's what they tell me.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we're compatible.
You're a Leo.
No, I'm Aquarius.
Oh, you meant compatible as far as how the stars align?
Lovers.
Yeah. Like,
I don't understand.
if-
I was going to say, you're not August.
No, but we're compatible if we ever
Mate?
If we were decided to be gay, like then I think we would match up well.
Well, if you decided, you don't know about me.
That's true.
I heard it is something you decide.
Anyway, 2020, Yeah, that's, oh boy. Cancel that part of the show. We're going to get canceled again.
Never.
Oh, I didn't realize you were so young at heart. I didn't realize you were 42.
Very old.
Yeah, okay. So I get it. I get why you worked a little before poker. It wasn't booming yet.
No.
So you graduated college in like 2004?
4.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
So like the poker boom was already kind of happening then. Were you playing online or live anywhere during this time?
I was dipping my feet in the water. The online stuff was just starting to cook, if you will.
Yeah.
And then there were a local Indian casino, Salamanca. That was built while I was in college.
Okay.
And then they opened a poker room while I was getting my master's degree. I have a master's degree, by the way.
You were very smart.
Shout out St. Bonaventure again. Love that master's degree.
So they named Poker Masters after Brent's master's degree.
Cannot confirm nor deny that. So I do this, and I'm getting into poker. I'm playing a little bit online, and then this live poker room opens, and my dad, who I'll keep referencing throughout the show apparently, loved poker. My mom loved poker, so I got into poker through them.
Okay.
And then the Chris Moneymaker thing happened, and then I was just instantly hooked into poker.
So when you were a kid, did you play like poker games and stuff?
I have so many great memories as a kid where friends would come over and play in the home games, and I would just watch them and just be, infatuated with what they were doing, and they were playing crazy games. It wasn't no limit hold'em. There was a lot of stud variation sorts of games. Then eventually, as I got older into high school and college, I would travel with my dad these local towns around the area, and they'd have these home games in these environments, and I would just be there. And then, eventually throw me a hundo and I'm in the game, lose a hundo very quickly because I was terrible, throw me another one, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, I got into it through family, got into it through the boom, and I've always loved poker.
So did you go to Turning Stone at all, or was that just too far away? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to equate where everything is, Western New York versus.
So I'll tie it. I'll try and tie this up together quickly without going too much. But I met Matt Berkey, Brian LaManna from the OnlyFans show. You're familiar with these guys?
We've been on there, yeah.
Been on there.
Love
Love
that
those
show.
guys. They became very close friends of mine. They went to this Salamanca room outside of St. Bonaventure, and that's how I met them. Was in this poker game. I met Danny Piccioli, who is Brian Piccioli's dad.
Yeah.
Danny was in the game. Love Danny. We'll miss him. He passed, but he was in this game and a bunch of these characters. And so Turning Stone, I'll head there. We all connected this little group. It was myself, Berkey, Danny at the time. Brian was a baby. I was at his graduation party. We got him a blow-up doll and a Nintendo Wii. Was there. And so we did this whole thing. And so Turning Stone was one of the big trips that we would take whenever they'd run these events. And we'd just go out there and play tournaments, play cash games. Oftentimes, I would never leave my hotel room because I would play online poker, which great advice, by the way. You spend a lot of money on a trip, book your hotel, you're going to go out there and play, paying a premium for food. Never leave the room. Just play online poker.
Yeah, well, here comes Sunday. You gotta grind.
What was your online name for the fans?
Full Tilt was B Hanks 11. Poker Stars was USource K. Very European looking name. That was intentional. It was also my AOL Instant Messenger name.
What was your next question?
So that was, that was the history of that. But yeah, I played a lot.
I love it. Yeah, I wish.
We played a lot, by the way.
We did.
Woozle.
That was the Woozle. Yeah. I should have been my AOL Instant Messenger name. I would have been.
It wasn't?
No, I was Pimp Smack 2005.
Is that right?
AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's definitely a pimp smacker over there.
I was going for a different approach than.
Not European.
Yeah. Well, the Woozle, that could be.
Oh, the
that could be
Woozle,
European.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I could have gone for it.
What does the Woozle mean?
You ever see Winnie the Pooh?
Yeah. Familiar?
Are you aware with the poo?
That's okay. Wow. I always thought it was like some rapper.
Oh yeah.
Never like the Woozle.
The notorious WH0.
No, I thought it was a rapper that I didn't know, but yeah. Okay,
No,
Winnie the Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh.
I didn't mean to completely derail this, by the way, but I had to know.
Well, behind the curtain of screen names, it's
what
maybe a
did
new
it mean?
podcast spinoff we're going to have.
Yeah.
Well, you see, I wanted to be a pimp who smacked,
And I graduated in 2005.
which I did.
Tough city to be a pimp in these days, Las Vegas. The market share not so high.
Well, I was out in Gloucester, Virginia, so.
Oh no, you could still be a pimp there.
I could pimp like
Are we getting canceled for this part?
large
I don't think so.
tires.
Probably.
To
This is on par.
people's trucks. Maybe I could pimp those. Anyway,
All right, real quick. Do you have crypto just sitting in a crypto wallet doing nothing? then you've probably never heard of Gauntlet. Gauntlet.xyz is a billion-dollar research company that manages risk for huge internet platforms like Uniswap, Arbitrum, Jupiter, and a ton of other ones. And how can they help you? They actually curate these things called crypto vaults. And what's a crypto vault? Well, you just put your crypto in, you get an interest rate. The interest rate depends on the supply and demand of that particular token that you put into there. It's kind of complicated, but their algorithms make it like 1,000 poker solvers are working on your side. And you get a return on crypto that was just sitting in your wallet anyway. Here, let me show you how it works. I've got 800 USDC here. I'm gonna put it into this USDC vault. The current interest APY is a little over 9%. So I'm gonna get that for a little bit and I can take it out whenever I want. Now, as you can see, they have a bunch of different vaults, a bunch of different tokens. Do your own research on all of this, which one appeals to you, but definitely don't let your crypto just sit in your wallet doing nothing. It could be here earning for you. So if you've got USDC or USDT, which if you're a poker player, you probably do, you're gonna wanna have it sitting in one of these vaults earning something for you. So head on over to gauntlet.xyz/T1 and it'll take you right to the vault page. You'll be able to check out which one looks good to you. All right, back to the show.
Were you on Donkey Fish Poker? Were you on that one or no? Because I was
Sort of remember
Berkey.
the forum. Berkey was there, and he would fight a lot with people. That's what Berkey loves to fight.
but that's changed.
He
He's normal
fights
now.
with he fought with Alex Keating a lot.
Yeah.
Cadabra, I believe, if I remember correctly, was his on. A lot of stuff there on Donkey Fish. Pocket Fives was kind of my go-to.
Okay.
Back in the day, never really a 2+2 guy.
Yeah, me either.
Wasn't smart enough.
Yeah.
Pocket Fives, I fit right in.
Yeah, we need a smaller community for us regular-sized brain people.
Yeah.
I was on liquidpoker.net. I don't know if you know that one.
What is that?
It was like people, I don't know how I ended up there, but it was people who played StarCraft. Like,
Yeah.
Just name names, get some legitimacy to it.
Clay McGuire,
Oh, wow,
Mesmerize Please,
that's-
Peachy Keen.
There we go. Eric Lou. There
Eric
you go.
Lou.
Okay.
Mig.com, James Mackey.
Love him. Yeah.
Johnny Cosmo.
Don't know what that is.
He's actually
Sounds like a
Jonathan
porn-
McGowan. He's a San
Sounds
Diego.
like a porn star. Johnny Cosmo.
He could be. He could be. No, but there's a lot of guys on this kind of small forum. Actually, Joe Ingram. That's where he started.
Is that right? Poppy.
Yeah, Big Poppy, Mr.
Now
Poppy.
he's everywhere, this guy.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity. He might be a real porn star now.
Well, I mean,
Poppy.
I don't let him post it on YouTube. Maybe he's got a different channel that we should check out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're really getting off
I'm
track
gonna
here.
reel
Let's
him back
reel
in
us
for a second.
Justin.
All right, so you're got a master's degree. You're teaching middle school, 5th grade, somewhere in there, right? It's a lot of math because you're a genius. You're shaping our children's minds. Are you going home like right after you teach and like you're playing online, or is it is poker like how big a part of poker?
It was a big part. It took a little while. I started teaching fresh out of college, call it 2005, immediately got a job in the smallest town right down the road from where I grew up in Fillmore, New York. The town is called Belfast, New York. I loved it. I got involved with the kids, with basketball, 5th and 6th grade basketball right away. Poker slowly crept in from the bar league games to these home games I described earlier, and then to online poker. I didn't really go home right away after teaching until after I had a significant score at the time. So I think I won a few $1,000. Thought this was easy, and apparently it was. Once I did that, I would then start playing on Sundays in the bigger buy-in events, and I would, there were Sundays where I would just win my salary that I was making as a teacher, and it led to a pretty quick and easy. I shouldn't say easy, but it led to a decision to where I was going to move to Las Vegas full time, give it a go. I moved out here with Matt Berkey and LaManna, that whole crew, and that was in 2007. So I only taught from essentially 05, 06, 07 for 3 years, and then made the move.
Did your family look at you kind of sideways, like when it come? Because like it's a pretty big, like have a respectable job. You're shaping people's kids' minds, and then you're just like, no, I'm gonna do the complete opposite.
No, my family was really supportive. The one thing that they wanted to do was get your master's degree, finish get sorted there, because once you have that, you sort of have flexibility as far as where your career go down the road. I didn't have to stay in teaching; I could get into administration, that sort of thing. If I wanted to be a principal down the road, that'd be great. But given kind of the backstory with my mom and my dad, they love poker.
Yeah.
So, and they saw me playing a lot and having a lot of great success. I was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it was easy to be good at poker back in 2005, 2006.
Really was.
It was a lot different than it is
Really
now.
was, yeah.
You just need to know how to 3-bet. And then
Yeah, there was just, aggression, whatever. But they were very supportive. They just made sure I got my shit straight before I made this move to go to the stone opposite side of the country.
Yeah.
And but once I haven't left. I've been here since.
Had you ever visited before you made the move?
Never.
No, me
Never.
either.
I'd never been anywhere. I mean, I'm a homebody, small town kind of guy. I had been to Atlantic City. And that was my only real experience inside of a full-blown resort casino setup outside of that Salamanca destination we talked about. But went to Canada a couple times, the Falls View and Casino Niagara. But no, I'd never been to Las Vegas. Had no idea what a real big city even looked like. Didn't know what sushi was. I'd never seen it in my life. There were so many things that I was so ignorant to. And for the first few years living in Vegas, I kind of hated it.
Yeah, me
wasn't,
too, actually.
It wasn't me.
We moved here at the same time, but I faced the same discomfort, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to put it, but yeah, I didn't feel like I belonged here.
I didn't. I still don't probably belong here, but I didn't leave my house. I played a bunch online. Friends would go out on the weekends to the clubs. I probably did that. I could count on a single hand how many times I've ever been
Clubs
to a club.
suck.
It's just not, was never really for me. I traveled a lot. I have one sibling. She lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. She's also a teacher, administrator now. And I would pretty much just try and go there. If I was going to leave somewhere, I'd go see my sister in Charlotte. Or I'd go back to Buffalo, that area, and I'd see my good friends and just try and hang out with them.
And we'll get back to poker in a second, but thank God you did, right? Because you met a very special person there.
Yeah.
I'm going to lead you down this path.
I did, yeah. My sister's best friend in North Carolina is now my wife. They were team teachers together in this school, and I would go back and I met Liz at a lunch, and I just was like, oh my God, who her laugh, everything about her. I was just like, I love this girl. And long story short, we got together. She came up and visited with my sister our little family town and house. We had this party called Hanks Fest every Memorial Day weekend. And Liz came with my sister to this party and this gathering, and we just really hit it off there and stayed in touch. And a year later, we were together. A year after that, we're married. And now, 10 years later, we've got 3 kids, and she's a teacher out here. And
How was that conversation convincing her or her wanting to come out to Vegas to be with you / teach?
It was not as difficult as you think, right?
Sounds
it was
so hard to me.
It was love is love, man. When you got love, look at this specimen. I was very convincing apparently, but she did it. I went back to Charlotte. We packed up her vehicle at the time. We planned this cross-country trip, had a job lined up where she was going to become a teacher out here, and we drove her Nitro, which I don't think they make anymore.
Yeah, probably not.
It's a cheap
Safety
Nitro.
reasons, I think.
Yeah. Across the country, went the southern route. Arkansas, by the way, the worst place I've ever been in my entire life. Don't go to Arkansas, ever. If you're watching this.
Justin, when you moved out here, did you drive?
Because
I drove from Virginia, and it was 4 days of hell.
No, I've done the cross-country trip a bunch of times, but no, that time we flew and we had our stuff shipped. I was doing pretty well at that time, not to brag. But I used to live in Colorado, so I've done that, Colorado, North Carolina, probably 6 times in my life.
That stretch is amazing.
Yeah.
That's
You
the
go
northern
part.
route.
That's right, yeah.
The northern route is beautiful. We did the southern route. Didn't love Arkansas. I'll say that again. Nothing
And
against
Texas never ends.
Great people.
Yeah.
Great people. No, it doesn't. But anyway, yeah, we've been here for a long time. My wife is still a teacher here, and
not gonna lie, Justin, when you said you met someone special in North Carolina, I really thought it was gonna be you. I'm not gonna lie.
No, we didn't meet till probably 08.
I was gonna say it had to be 08,
Yeah, I'm
09.
guessing.
Same time I met bass Eric Baldwin, right around that time.
Who will eventually get on here, by the way. Eric.
Well, yeah, we'll have to twist some arms, I think. So what was your bankroll like when you got out here? Because teacher salary is probably not too much to be coveted. But you said you had some success online already, like, so you had to have some kind of like bankroll. Like,
yeah, so I came out here. I mean, I remember it pretty vividly. I had right around 100,000. That was for me. It was a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, it's still
so nice bankroll. This is the most insane part of the story. I moved out here on a Thursday in Las Vegas. That first Sunday, while living in Vegas, I had nothing yet. No furniture. I had an air mattress in the room that I was going to be living in, awaiting for all my stuff to arrive via truck. I was very rich, you know, 100,000 bankrolls.
Yeah.
Car was being shipped and all that stuff. That first Sunday, I won the Sunday Million at PokerStars. So my first Sunday in Las Vegas, and it was the last one. It was a $500 buy-in.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what they call it. It was like a monthly whatever.
Super Sunday or something.
Super Sunday, yeah. And I won. I got 13th in the Sunday warm-up, and I won the million on the very same Sunday. So now I'm really rich. That was like for, you know, 200, I think it was 225,000.
Wait,
I'm
that
like,
was the same, shit. You won the warm-up prior? Or?
No, I got 13th the same Sunday.
Oh,
I got 13th.
So you were like a little disappointed.
And I was a little bummed out, but I was, you know, getting kind of deep in the million, and then won it.
Oh my God.
And it was, and that's how my whole thing started out here in Vegas, was just, okay, move here on a Thursday, win the Sunday Million on a Sunday, my first Sunday on an air mattress, and this is great. What a wonderful decision.
Yeah. And then everything smooth sailing from there, right?
Right.
Just,
yes.
Wire to wire, GPI.
I had a good stretch. I mean, for a while. Online, I was crushing it and made my first World Series of Poker Final Table in 08 that following summer.
That was your first six-figure score, if I remember. You got like fourth or fifth or something like that. Yeah. In a 2K, a massive 2K.
Yeah, that was great. This is crazy. The kid that won, his name was Duncan Bell. He's from Canada, Vancouver area. Okay. I just got back from Houston, as you know, on this past Saturday. So I've been home for less than a week. While I'm at the table in Houston at Champions Club, shout out Champions Club, love those guys.
Us too.
I get tapped on my shoulder, and I turn around, and I kind of recognize the person. It's Duncan Bell, the guy that won that event. I haven't seen him since that day, since that final table. And it's him. He's right here. He came in from Canada. He just came down to play a part of their tournament series, and I couldn't believe it. So we shot the shit at the table, and I don't know. It was very nostalgic, reminiscent. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Did he bust you? Just curious.
No, we played cash. He did not bust me.
No, I mean
someone else did.
In the tournament.
In the tournament. In the
one you got fourth
2K,
in,
you
he won.
No, the guy that busted me, who I also love, especially now, his name is Stephen Merrifield.
I feel like I know him.
At the time, and probably still is, that's Jason Kuhn's best friend from West Virginia.
That's how I know him.
Kuhn was on the rail. I only knew him as Nova Sky. He was not the Jason Kuhn then that he is now. Kuhn probably had less money than I did at the time. For sure did.
100%.
For sure did. Yeah. He's, you know, an online guy. That was Jay Kuhn's best friend. He busted me in that tournament where I had all the chips. I was going to win that fucking thing. And we got it in with like an 8-high flush draw against my top two, and here I am still remembering every detail.
It is easy to remember those. The pain.
The pain's easy. Yeah.
The pain's easy. Jeez.
The brain makes the pain easy. That way we avoid it in the future by signing up to another tournament, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So did you start traveling with all this success? So whatever, like your bankroll's 100K, you get 200K like the first Sunday in, like the next summer you hit for whatever, $150, $175, whatever it is. Like, I mean, bankroll, confidence, everything's got to be high. You're living with a bunch of like, I wouldn't say killers, but like a bunch of really good poker
terrible.
players.
Berkey was awful at the time too. Yeah,
he was awfully awesome to hang out with.
He was amazing. I mean,
to play with.
Still to this day, that core are some of my closest friends. You know, Berkey and I we still talk all the time and whatnot. Berkey's an animal now. Yeah. But no, I did not travel. I didn't do anything. I still remained just sort of loyal to the soil. I hated going anywhere. I would do some stuff in the States. To this day, have never been to Europe. I've never left the United States. I went to the Bahamas. I don't count PCA.
Yeah.
I don't count Canada. I've never been anywhere else. And that's just me being, I don't know, just scared of travel, unwilling to go anywhere. Had I done it, I wish I did it during that heyday of my career where I had all the money and I was single and didn't have, 74 children to be responsible for and pay for. But that would have been the time for me. But I never did anything. I think I'm just kind of boring.
I don't
Well, I
think
mean,
that's
you
true.
were from a tiny part of New York. Like everything out here, we have Paris. We have
It's all
New
here.
York. We have
Bellagio's, like
the
Italy.
pyramids,
Yeah.
the Luxor.
It's
We've got it all,
here.
baby.
And in my mind, everything in the U.S., there's still so many places I want to go and see and visit. The rest of the world, I use Google. You know, like if I want to learn about these other countries that I'm sure are great in the cultures, which I have no doubt are wonderful, you know, I'll just get online. That's about it.
Open a history book. See how Venice was built. No, I don't know. I think that's.
Very ignorant. You can be honest, yeah.
No, the
Very
U.S. is big. There's a lot.
sheltered.
There's a lot to see, man.
I would say that's probably like 75% of people in America anyway. Is kind of just being not homebody-ish, but like happy where they are, and like
Just
they don't need to like
sheltered, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sheltered might be strong, but like whatever. Like I feel like most of my family, like on both sides, are kind of like that as well. Like it might be an outlier, but like I don't know. Like it's hard to like venture out. Like when you have your safe bubble, you know where things are.
Yeah.
Speaking of safe.
I like being comfortable.
Yeah. So your bankroll was completely safe at this point. You never risked too much. You never went on a big downswing or anything, or am I just mistaken?
No, not really. I mean, I was very steady for a number of years. Where I took some shots and chances was I then started staking my whole fucking house.
Oh, I've never heard this before.
So I'm backing Berkey, I'm backing LaManna, I'm backing Garrity at the time. A lot of these people you're not familiar with.
Garrity's great.
At some point, I start backing Tristan Wade Creative with Jason
He was great.
Mercier, who I had run into. We didn't touch on that story yet. Jason Mercier becomes my backer for all live events. So I've got all my online action, and then anything big in live poker, I'm playing for Jason Mercier.
I remember that.
And it was myself, Alan Barry, and Dan O'Brien.
Helen Berry. God,
Yeah. Which you should get all of them on the show.
I would love to get Alan on because
All
he
of
has gone on to do his restaurant thing, and
Yeah.
I would love to talk to Alan. But
And that was great. I'm still winning online, but the problem was for Jason, I'm not doing shit. Live was tough.
so hold on, back up. What made you start to get backed for only live stuff? Were you backed like in the time when you were making your first big scores, or you were just like,
Never. I had 100% of myself in all the online stuff. I've never been backed, with the exception of like a couple 10K scoops. Jason would take that action. But I had all myself in online. And then up until whenever I met Jason, which would have had to have been around 2010 or 11, somewhere around there, that's when I first put together a deal with Jason. That's after he won San Remo. Jason got really rich out of nowhere.
yeah, I was there at San Remo
There you
on
go.
his rail.
Yeah.
Is an absolutely excellent call.
The Frenchman is out of the tournament.
Yeah, Art swapped a couple percent with him that
2%
tournament.
with
sick.
Jason in that
Yeah.
tournament. We were
So
like-
shortly after that, I think it was the following summer in Vegas where we just, something about Jason and I, we just hit it off. We were immediate friends. And then same with Dan and Alan. And we just became sort of this little pack. Jason continued to flourish and have great success. I struggled, had a couple small scores here and there. Alan had a big one. He won a bracelet, defeating Maria Ho. I think it was the 5K six max. And Dan O'Brien, he always struggled. Dan was horrible. Love Dan, by the way, but you know, I think he did fine. But we all ended up getting out. I ended up winning my bracelet in 2012, and you know, whatever my makeup was at the time, which I forget, but I'm sure Jason remembers. Gave him all that. I got my share, which was still 6 figures, so I'm sure it was fine.
Let's not
And
glaze
then-
over the 2012 bracelet. Like, what event was it?
Yeah.
I'll let you.
It was the
finish.
very first open event in 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So they had the casino employees event, then they had the first 1,500 no limit event. I won the opening event, and then that was the end. Jason cut me the following day, which I was fucking pissed about. It's like, we finally get a taste of glory. Finally get the money. He's like, bro, business is business. You know, I don't want to do this every year. You don't leave the country. You don't go anywhere, which he's right. I was never going to leave. I was only going to play what I wanted to play, and he was right. I lacked motivation.
Puts you in a tough spot for the rest of the summer to like think about what you're going to do.
Yeah, it was fun. You know, I had some money. I think I ended up selling a package to, I forget if you had a taste
I think
that
I did.
year.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I think you had a taste, and I think Faraz Xhaka had a taste, but I kind of, you know, I kind of forget. But, you know, should not be surprising, although it sucks. But I think the rest of the summer I just stone bricked like everything.
Sounds
And
right.
that was, you know, that's the story for most people at the World Series. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Tournaments are hard.
Yeah.
Tournaments are hard.
Especially right after you
And
win
I'm,
something.
I'm high on myself. I'm feeling it. Very immature, as I always have and will be, and probably just didn't play great poker like Phil Hellmuth does. And, but now I'm old. Now I do play great poker. I just don't play poker.
Just very selectively.
I just don't play. Yeah.
Furthest he goes is Champions Club.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Mercier backs you and then drops you 2012, is that right?
Yeah.
So what was life like after that? Because there's some, I don't know.
We skipped a lot.
Yeah, well,
we skipped Black Friday.
Oh, well, shit, let's go.
Right,
yeah.
so Black Friday happened. That was.
I mean, it's one of those where were you when you found out moments. I know exactly where I was, and I told everyone I could tell, and no one gave a shit. I was at my sister-in-law's wedding the day before, whatever. We rented a boat to go out, and I was like, oh, how are things? I just lost about half my income, and they're like, oh, what does that mean? I was like, well, they just found DOJ just said you can't play online poker. They're like, oh, all right, well, I'm gonna go over here now. I'll just talk to you later because I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I was super depressed. Either way, it was
really, really hard. I won the bracelet in 2012. I'm okay. We've got money. I've got money. I met my wife. She was watching the stream or watching the coverage when I won that bracelet. So she's back in North Carolina. My life's about to go a different direction, which I don't know is happening yet, right? With her and all. We're going to get very serious. So everything's fine. Finished the World Series, and then Black Friday is still ongoing. I have no idea what's happening with my Full Tilt money, which I had a lot. I have no idea what's happening with my PokerStars money, which I had a chunk there. And my wife, she moves. I fly out during the end of the summer. We drive back here to Las Vegas. She's going to live here full time. There's a lot of uncertainties, and I've got a lot of money hung up in spots where I don't know what to do. So shout out Shaun Deeb, who bought all of my money from Full Tilt for, I forget what it was per dollar, right? Because we had no idea if we were getting it back.
Yeah, no, I remember making
there was uncertainty there, but there was it seemed favorable, but we didn't really know. So he bought my money for cash. I met him at Aria. I remember walking in, he gave me this beautiful black leather Aria bag, which I still have to this day, and it's got a shit ton of cash in it, and we have this arrangement. I'm gonna give him my Full Tilt account when it comes in, and I'm going to also give him a free roll of all of my live action. I think he had 10 to 15%.
Oh, wow. What a deal
of whatever I got. And then I fucking went nuts. I won back-to-back-to-back tournaments at the Win for the card player tour and won these trophies. So Shaun made money there.
CPPT. I think I remember that. Yeah.
Team Lucky. I mean, that's
you had some lucky free roll money.
He made money on the Full Tilt deal because we ended up getting 100% of our money back. And I think he bought it at I don't know, 80 cents to the dollar, something like that. So he made a bunch of money.
Sharp fucking play, Shaun.
I've known Shaun since then, and Shaun and I have always been, I don't say close, but we've always had a very good relationship. He's an upstanding guy, has never had any bad shit about him, and we I don't know, we've just stayed in touch and had a good relationship with Deeb. So I'm on my own after that. And I've been on my own ever since then until eventually fast forward to 2015, where I meet the one and only Cary Katz.
Which would be in the Poker Hall of Fame.
Why is he not in the Hall of Fame?
I don't understand.
It's so stupid.
The
Hall of Fame's stupid.
In my poker career, I can't think of anyone else, maybe outside of Maury, that has done more for poker than him.
It's crazy. And then he's just never even been nominated.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy.
He's
and
just
people
so
are going to watch this
quiet.
and they're going to be like, oh yeah, but he put poker behind a paywall. Okay, first of all, yeah, it's a business. What isn't behind a paywall these days? I mean, you got Disney Plus?
Of course.
Winnie the Pooh? I mean UFC, what? Netflix, HBO Max, everything is behind a paywall. That's where do you think the future's going if you want to watch the shit you like? It's going to be behind a paywall. It's going to be a service. Cary was ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And still remains to be the case. And that's, anyway, I'm off my high horse.
Well,
there.
no,
it's all right. I think it's good.
I remember me, baseball to Eric Baldwin, and Cary went out to dinner. I think we were playing a $400 Venetian. Because back then, Cary would grind the smallest events because he just wanted to get better. He enjoyed poker that much. And he took us out to dinner at Grand Lux, and he pitched the idea of PokerGO, basically. And I know my first reaction was that's not going to work at all. Like no one's going to pay to watch.
Was it
poker.
PokerGo or Poker Central?
Poker Central.
Poker Central was going to be
the idea of like.
So, I'm guessing when you guys did the dinner, Poker Central was not. There was no talk of a paywall at that time.
Right.
Poker Central was going to be the golf channel, but for poker. That's what Poker Central was going to be, like Golf Central. Weird. I know where that title now comes from, right? Yeah. So that was the initial drive, and that was his plan. Was I'm going to acquire all this content. We're going to do X, Y, Z, and we're going to have this 24/7 channel that'll be called Poker Central, just like Golf Central. That was that, and then eventually it pivoted to PokerGo.
Right, because like his idea was to turn it into golf, which he's kind of done. Basically, getting sponsors to pay. Kind of what Epic Poker League tried and failed to do, but like have sponsors kick in all the money to where everyone's kind of on a free roll or close to a free roll, at least no rake, and like you get all these bonuses on the back end or whatever. Like, you know, just like PGA.
Yeah. The problem was, and again, I was a consultant, and then I was a custodian for Poker Central and PokerGo.
Like a janitor?
I'm still a janitor for the most part, but I've never been, you know, Cary and I are very close and have a great relationship, same, you know, with Maury and everybody, but I've never been a big decision maker, which is probably sharp on Cary's end. But I don't remember exactly what happened. Poker Central to become an actual TV channel on, you know, call it whatever, DirecTV, whatever else was out there before the digital age took over, it was going to take like 2 to 3 years. So Cary was like, nah, I don't have time for that. I don't have patience. We're gonna pivot. So that's when PokerGo kind of became this thing where we're gonna take a different business model. It's gonna be a subscription platform. We're gonna build the platform and all this good stuff, and that's where that pivot came from.
Can you just do more Cary impressions?
Yeah, I was going to say, can you do the rest of the interview just in Cary voice?
Can we edit that if Cary sees the impression? I'm not going to wait for that. It's going to take like 2 or 3 years. I just want to, let's just, come on, let's create PokerGo.
Let's play cards.
It's like a hybrid. It's a merge between Seidel and Cary.
Yeah,
that's where I go with that. Yeah.
So, how were you approached by Cary or Poker Central to join the team? What was your motivation to like join? Like, I mean, that's got to be a huge life change to have this free and happy lifestyle, being a poker player, to like a more regimented life, but kind of in the same vein.
It was a perfect storm of what am I doing with my life and where am I headed with my life. Once Liz, my wife, moved here with me, I was side by side with Cary. Again, it's one of these very clear things that I just remember. I don't have a great memory, by the way, but this I do, I'll never forget. I'm in a 5K event at the World Series of Poker, and off to the right, Golf Central is on some monitor on some TV. And Cary I had known throughout the course of the years as this, you know, sort of VIP type player that played a lot of bigger buy-in stuff, and great guy, super friendly guy to play with. And he pulls out his phone. He says, "You like Golf Central?" Yeah, love golf. You know, love golf. He's like, what do you think about 24/7 poker channel? And he shows me his phone. He goes through the deck, and it's Poker Central. I'm like, this is great. Unlike you, where you're like, this will never work. I was like, this is great. I mean, I would watch, it'd be on my house, on my TV all day, because that's what Golf Central is, or it's ESPN.
Yeah.
It's shit that I'm a very limited guy. It's what I watch. It's what I love. What I want to consume. It's just on. It might be background noise. It might be locked in. Long story short, he shows me this thing, and I got home. I busted the tournament, surprise, because I bust every tournament. I get home later that night, and I tell my wife, Liz, is like, you know, today was weird, because I sat next to this guy, Cary, who's a very successful businessman and loves poker. And he showed me this deck on his phone, and she immediately said that night, she's like, you should follow up with him. You should somehow be a part of that. I was like, oh, no, but why would I do that? I'm just going to continue to play, you know. A few months later, I do follow up with Cary. And I'm like, you know, Cary, what you showed me, I'd love to somehow be a part of Poker Central. I don't know what that part is or what that means. I have no background in anything outside of being a school teacher and a poker player.
I've talked in front of 30 people. I could talk in front of...
Yeah, and so, I don't know what led Cary to do this, but he connected me with his son, Sam Simmons, And with the other guys that were sort of the core foundation of the company, it was Cary, Sam, Eric Wong, and Richard Blankenship. And we met at Yard House down at the Link. And that was my sort of interview of just meeting these young guns. They're all super young, 20-year-olds, brilliant minds. Eric Wong is the valedictorian of San Diego State for his classic. I mean, they're just brilliant people. And I met them. We had chicken wings. We had appetizers. We hit it off. Following days, Sam hits me up and he's like, hey, love to have you be a consultant for the company. Come on in, here's the address, blah, 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 bring a laptop, blah, blah, blah. No cubicles, nothing in there. I sit on the floor. They've all got these beautiful offices, and I'm out there on the floor. But that was the beginning, that was the infancy of the company.
That's how you won the Sunday Million, on the floor.
There were no employees whatsoever. It was literally those three, Cary, wherever Cary is, and then me on the floor out there, and we have this gorgeous office. And eventually, as the remainder of the year passes, cubicles get set up, employees start to fill the place, and the company is formed, and off it goes.
I mean, that's a cool story. I mean, just to, and shout out to Liz for like pushing you to do that.
She did.
Like, just by yourself, like I know you well enough, you probably wouldn't have.
No, very stubborn.
We're too similar.
She pushed me a few times, and I remember one conversation was like, what do you really envision, this becoming? Like, we're not married yet, we're not even engaged yet, but, is the stability of poker, you being a pro, actually there? And of course, I'm like, of course it is.
I can't lose.
Well, I'm like, playing Keno, like, of course, this is going to be
so
great.
much extra money.
It's going to be great, trust me. And then, but it became this, hold on, I dropped my thing that I need badly.
Your drugs.
My drugs. It became my nicotine. Can we edit that out?
Sorry.
Edit out, let me hit this. There's a story to how I got hooked on nicotine, too. Can we touch on that?
Yeah.
I think we covered the rest pretty well. So fast forward a couple years after I get started with now PokerGo's the thing. Poker Central turns into PokerGo. And I'm building lineups. I become very close with Maury, who I love to death. And now I'm the lineup guy. So I'm going to start building lineups. And this one particular lineup starts to develop. It's going to be Dan Bilzerian, Steve Aoki, Bill Perkins. I forget the rest, but it's a great group. It's an insane group. And we're going to film Poker After Dark. They're all coming. Holy shit, this is incredible. Dan Bilzerian comes in. They're all late, by the way, but that's normal.
What?
And he comes in. He's got his assistants and crew. They bring cases of these Ignite.
I thought you were going to say ketamine.
No, it's not ketamine. It was Ignite, no free ads, but it was the Ignite branded vapes. And I'm not doing anything.
Not a smoker.
Not a smoker, not a vapor, not a whatever. Once in a while I'll hit the weed pen or whatever.
Just a gambler.
Sure. I'm a gambler. I'm still an idiot. I am always an idiot. But he comes in with this and he's got all these different flavors, and I'm intrigued. And a lot of my colleagues are into it. And so he's like, yeah, help yourselves, guys, whatever you want. So I grab, some flavor, try, like, oh, what is that? Next thing you know, it's in my hand. There's 4 more in my pocket, and I'm taking a case home. I have been hooked on the vape ever since that moment inside the studio where all these vapes arrive. And I have had one every day since. Wow. We're talking like 4 years ago.
And that's thousands and tens of thousands of dollars? I don't know how much. Like, I'm not trying to make you feel bad, but like, so I'm just saying, like, he's a good drug pusher is all I'm saying. Like, he gave you a taste.
And honestly, I function well with them. I've always been like a bar. Okay, so if we go out to the bar. Hypothetically.
Right.
And we're doing our thing at the bar. Like, if someone had a smoke, like, yeah, whatever, I might bum one. Like, even in college, like, sure, a frequent weekend, give me a drag, give me a cigarette. I've no shame in that. I'm no judging, of course. But eventually, cigarettes kind of got gross to me. They smelled, the smoke. And then, oh, what's this? None of that exists. And apparently, this is actually healthy.
Yeah.
I'm in great shape now because they're not healthy. They're not healthy, but they're a lot less unhealthy than, the smoke stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's to be determined, I think, too.
TBD.
But I also similarly...
Popcorn lung.
Similarly, when I was much younger, I was like 10th grade, like 15 years old, and I went to visit my friend in the Middle East. for a summer. I would go to his house every summer, and he just like, he had a military family. He would move. He lived in Germany, and then he lived in the Middle East for this time that I went to see him. And in the Middle East, hookah and shisha was very popular.
Shisha?
Like, shisha is the tobacco that you put in the hookah.
Okay, yeah.
And you, so I visited him. I was 14 or 15. His family had like one of these hookahs, and we would just smoke it every night. And they gave me one to take home to Virginia. Ooh, yeah. They were like, here you go. I'm like the only person in the United States that has like a hookah that's like a 14-year-old white kid or whatever. And I show it to my friends. I'm like, oh yeah, this is they tell me it's better than cigarettes because it goes through the water, which filters it, and then it's just healthy smoke going into your body.
Very healthy.
The studies come out years later that say one giant puff is like an entire pack of cigarettes, and then
that's real.
Apparently,
well, I didn't know hookahs were that bad.
Apparently, they're not good for you.
Oh wow!
But anyway, we're both gonna die early. It's less we have to save for retirement, really. So it's good.
But I honestly, like, I mean, I have been doing a lot of walking lately. Oh, really fit.
Well, I didn't know this turned into a brag post.
I have not felt any effects from the vape when it comes to cardio.
Okay.
But I remember when I would go play basketball or take a jog or whatever back during the college cigarette era, and I was dead.
All right.
I mean, that shit killed me. So anyway, go ahead and vape all you want.
No repercussions.
We'll edit this out.
We will not, but we might get a sponsorship.
Looking for a vape sponsor here at the Table One podcast, as well as on PokerGO.
That's right. So, to ignite our revenue.
Yeah. Hey. So Dan, if you're listening,
which
you are.
Yeah. So just a quick break here. Have you ever checked out like the listing for Coachella or some other music festival, and you look at it and you're like, man, Kanye, I don't know a lot of bands, Eminem, how do they get all these people on here? Well, Phenom Poker has a list of pros: Joe Chong, Sergio Ido, Justin Young, Brian Brass, Chris Hunichin,
Eric Baldwin. Yeah, it's a who's who.
It's a who's who of guys who just support this platform, and it hasn't even launched yet. And Table One is on that list. We support Phenom Poker. We think they're going to do good things. It's going to be the online poker site that you can trust. You can deposit with crypto. They're going to teach you how to do everything. And the best time to sign up is right now before they launch, because everybody who signs up to the waiting list is going to get extra tokens, extra rake back. It's really going to be in your best interest to sign up now. So just check in the description below. We're going to have a link right at the top that says Phenom Poker. Sign up through Table One, get on the waiting list, and sign up today.
Super simple. Name, email, and then you're on with us. We started this story where you're putting together this amazing lineup of Perkins and Bilzerian and stuff like that, and I kind of want to finish that out a little bit, even if it fizzles or whatever. I'm just more curious. Like, I don't know, like as game runners ourselves, we know the difficulties and the anxiety that comes along with it. How did you deal with that stuff, especially dealing with bigger personalities, for instance, like Bilzerian?
A lot of politics involved with putting together games, as you guys are fully aware of, probably more so than others, well more so than others. But so I got connected with Dan, and the first rule when it comes to Dan Bilzerian, if he's going to play in a stream game, is he wants, oh man, I can't say this. Dan will play in soft games. So he helped, and I did some outreach and got together some people he would enjoy playing with. Steve Aoki's one, and the lineup was just great. And so they came in 4 hours late, got the whole production crew booked.
4 hours?
And it was, maybe it was, I'm exaggerating. It was probably more like 2 hours late.
Still.
But we booked the whole day because that's how filming goes. You know,
Yeah.
it's you've done this a number of times. You've been there. It's a huge crew, and you've got X number of hours. You're working with the with Aria. They've got their own crew that they've got a staff, and things really have to align with timing. What also made this insane, I believe it was 90% of the group came in with zero cash nor chips. And they fully assumed that they could just buy in with Bitcoin. So they could just go up to the cage and buy into this game with Bitcoin. That's not a thing.
It's not a thing, especially back
still
then.
not now.
Even now, it's not a thing.
It's not
Especially
a thing.
not 2016. Yeah.
So now we got a problem where, all right, we're going to film this cash game. No one has any money, but they're all worth, hundreds of millions of dollars.
Let's just load them.
So it's like, okay, well, shit. So that actually happens where Alan Keating swoops in to save the day. Shout out Alan. And he comes over with a Ziploc full of, you know, flamingos and cranberries, and he just gives these guys what they need, and they'll take care of the rest on the side. So he comes over and gives them all the money they need to make sure that they've got money to play the game and that we can film this show. And that was one of my first tastes of high celebrity, high profile players and just the shit that comes along with that.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That is, then there is a lot of shit, but like I'm sure you've seen way more than we have. But the Alan coming in and saving the day.
That was cool.
Did he have a seat too?
That was cool.
He played the lineup.
He did not play.
Oh wow.
He just came in with a Ziploc bag.
I'm here to be the bank.
We were just off and running. Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, and we were calling. I remember Maury's on the phone trying to get a hold of somebody. I'm on the phone trying to like, hey, we need money. We got to, you know, we got to get a show. We got to film. We need to actually. And then finally, I get all down. He's like, yeah, I can come help. And just wanders in a few minutes later and does his thing.
Just got $1 million on him. And
Sure. Yeah,
that's great.
Just a quick break here, guys. Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No,
like this? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait. If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only 5K minimum buy-in. You know, run it up at 2.5 and join us. All right, so like you're putting together these lineups, like PokerGo is coming more into the main market or whatever. How did you get into the commentating booth? Because like I'm sure that was never the goal when you signed on with Poker Central or like, you know, aligned yourself with the Cary Katz.
Never was even a conversation. And this was good. So Poker After Dark is at the time a show that we're doing, which now GG Poker owns Poker After Dark. Ali Najad is the voice of that show. The best. You guys had him on the show.
Iconic, yeah, he's great.
Unbelievable. He's an incredible human. What a character. I mean, my God. So Ali's doing this show. He gets sick. I mean, throwing up, whatever the case was. And we've got a lineup that I've built that we're going to be filming live in literally an hour.
Right.
Inside the studio. And we don't have Najad. This is live at the time. We're not doing episodes. This is live on an hour delay, and everybody that subscribes is going to be watching this show. And we don't have a broadcaster. So Maury looks at me, talks to our producer, and he says, Brent, you're in.
In what? The game?
In cold.
Oh, I haven't played poker for a while. I guess I could play.
I've never done anything in my entire life that has to do with commentary, broadcast, nothing. I've done nothing, absolutely nothing. And he puts me in the box, and I'm completely alone.
And you're by yourself.
I'm solo. There's no one there. I got the headset on. I got the producer, the director, and there's all sorts of stuff going on with these big shows. And I have no idea what's happening. And so my immediate instincts were, okay, what did Ali do? What was he doing? I'll just copy it. I'll just try and copy it and do the best I can. That's the only, I mean, I have nothing to go off.
Yeah.
So they put me in, and I do this broadcast, and I listen back. In fact, you can't even find it anywhere. I think it was so bad.
They buried it pretty hard.
I think it's so bad. It's like in the archives, you know, listed for a while. Chris Kruk was in the game because I remember calling him Captain Kruk. And there was, you know, I have no idea. You hear this producer in your ear, and they're like, "Okay, we're gonna toss it to this vignette coming up," and they give you this kind of 10, 9, 8. And I'm like, "Wait, what is this?" And then you've got to fill, you know, exactly 45 seconds of airtime before it rolls into the transition. And I don't know how to do this, so I'm like, yeah. So here we are. We got this beautiful stuff, setting, blah blah blah. You know, no idea what's going on. But that was it. That's how I got into commentary. Shortly after that, Jeff Platt is badgering Maury and Dan Gotti. Dan Gotti, by the way, No one will know who he is if we're talking about it. If you do, then you're just kind of in the know. Dan is Maury's number one. There's Maury, and then there's Dan. You don't drop much. There's Maury and Dan Gotti. Dan Gotti, no one knows who this guy is, and that's probably quite intentional. He's producer, director, executive producer. He can do anything and everything when it comes to a production, and he's brilliant. We're talking about a Columbia law student, gave up on law, and then he somehow met Maury. I don't even know his story, but I would love to.
Maybe we'll get him on.
And the rest is history. But anyway,
Love to.
so this whole thing happens where Jeff Platt is badgering them.
That's not the way he put it, but yeah.
He's badgering them from his time at the World Series of Poker. And he wants an audition. He wants to somehow get involved. And so Jeff comes into Vegas, and they're going to give him an audition. And then Dan and Maury, they're like, oh, Brent, can you sit in with Jeff? We want to audition this guy. He's brand new talent, and we want to see what he brings to the table. He's going to be play-by-play. You're going to be color commentary. And there's a difference, by the way. A lot of people tuning in, there's a major difference between play-by-play and color.
Yeah.
So Jeff's going to be the play-by-play guy. I'm going to be color. We do this old U.S. Poker Open show. And so we do it. Run through a few hands. We do this thing. I think, which I cannot confirm, I believe it was an audition for the two of us. I think I was in there, as maybe Brent could be good at color because he's horrible at play-by-play. We just experienced that with Poker After Dark, but maybe he could do this. So they run it, they do it. 2 months after that, when we did this little thing, they book us to be the Poker Masters play-by-play and color commentary guys for upcoming shows. And we have been working together ever since.
That's good.
That's nice. That was like 2018?
17.
17?
17 into 18 was sort of the window there between when I did my thing, Jeff did the audition, and then we did our first series together.
That's cool.
You know, we had Jeff on, and he told us similar story. Actually, the same story.
Yeah.
But he said that he kind of cheated, and he had seen that Poker Masters episode, and that's the one that he practiced on at home.
He saw it?
He said he had already seen it.
He was guesstimating that was the one that they're going to pick, and he would watch it over and over again.
So he got his job like knowing the end of every hand.
Well, here's the thing with Jeff, and this is so Ali Nejad and Jeff would agree. I think I don't even know if you guys talked about that. You haven't aired the Jeff one, right?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Well, by the time you're listening to it, you'll have seen the Jeff one.
So one thing is for certain. Jeff and I both know and agree, and we're on the same page with the rest of the viewers and listeners. There will never be, and there never has been, a better tandem than Ali Nejad and Nick Shulman.
I agree.
They are absolutely tier A. They are the best. Whenever they're on a show, I watch and I listen because of them. I don't care what they're covering. I'm in. I'm watching because I love those guys. So we early on, very early on, just came to accept, okay, we're not going to be them. We can't be them. We're not going to replicate them. We just need to be our own, who we are, do our own show, find our own audience, and if people like us, great. If they hate us, so be it. I've been hated my whole life. So we knew that coming in. But I think what we tried to create together was, one, we just have a very natural, we're very close friends. Nick and Ali don't have that.
No.
They don't have that. Ali probably, I don't even, they work together, but they're not hanging out on the weekends together. You know, like Jeff and I hang out on the weekends, or well, if I have a weekend. We do whatever. We talk all the time, whatever. So we have this natural sort of rapport, which I think is extremely unique in this industry, where I don't even think that any of the other major broadcast tandems have that sort of relationship. So that's one leg up for us. And then two, we also don't want poker to be boring. I don't want to be the robotic GTO,
sure.
Solver says this, so let's talk about, I don't want any of that. I don't want to study it. I don't want to know it. I don't ever want that to be a part of a poker show, and nor does Jeff. So that's kind of where we come in with No Gambling, No Future, the show that we created. That's our baby. That's kind of what that show is all about. And that's the way we also approach the tournaments that we cover. We just want to tap into the casual fan that wants to sit around a table, have a beer, enjoy poker, have fun, watch you on film, because these are just normal people that are gambling for probably a lot of money, more than most people have. And And that's it. Have a beer, watch poker, enjoy the show. That's it.
I think
Well
that's
said.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said. Because one thing I do think PokerGo does well is the teaming of their commentators. It matches whatever the vibe of the tournament is, or the vibe of the cash game, or whatever it is. Because, like, to your point, no gamble, no future. It's inherently supposed to be fun and funny, and, like, at the end of the day, there's some sticker shock. You're like, oh, that guy lost that much money, or oh my God, that guy won that much money. Holy shit, I didn't realize that. I thought they were just playing for nickels, basically. I mean, like, you guys put some more seriousness to it, but, like, it's still, like, you guys make it so lighthearted. It's very
kind of the plan and the name of the show, which I know, I'm sure Jeff talked about, you know, No Gamble, No Future. It started off as a podcast. It was what you guys are doing, but you guys are really good at it, and you care about it, and you're consistent. Jeff and I were just so hit or miss. We might do like 3 or 4, and then Jeff would just be like, checked out, like, you know, I'm done, or I'd be checked out, like, oh, let's just skip this week, you know, we don't want to do it. But the brand and the name was so strong that Cary scooped it up, and we lost Poker After Dark. We needed a show to fill it, and, like, I think it was on a call. I said, well, why don't we just do No Gamble, No Future? Take the podcast, turn that into a show. And there it is. So now it's a show, and it's on every single network. It's on True TV, it's on MSG, it's on Vice. It's, you know, we film 2-3 seasons a year, blah, blah, blah. You've been on more episodes than anybody, by the way. Anybody that's ever played on the show. Justin Young has played on more episodes.
And he played more hands probably than anyone.
Oh, that's 100%. Yeah. And I didn't mean to.
It's not 100%.
There was a lot of stuff we skipped over on the commentary stuff, and we just jumped into the No Gamble, No Future stuff. But that really has become, for me, with commentary, outside of the PGT events, that show is, you know, that's my baby. You know, that was kind of our thing, and I care so much about that show. We want it to be so different than your traditional poker shows.
It is different. It is different. There's people on there getting super drunk, and they say stuff they shouldn't, and then half the episode gets cut out.
That is very true. Yeah. You and Phil Hellmuth get along great, huh? There are 3. This is Art. You're gonna love this. So you're gonna hate this.
hate probably.
There were 3 people that I would talk to Phil Hellmuth on the side, and one of them was Nick Airball. That's no longer the case. They've since cleared their, you know, they're fine. They can play together. Well, because Phil doesn't want to be put in an environment where he's dealing with harassment, which is ironic because Phil is, you know, Phil is Phil.
He's an insecure,
He's a harasser, not a harassee.
He, you know, he doesn't want to be put in an environment where he feels like he's got assholes surrounding him that are just kind of gunning for him from not just like from playing. Like Justin, you put beats on Phil a lot, but you don't come after him verbally. No. So you were hammered on that one show. Couple shows. And he had no idea who you were. And there was another guy, Humboldt Mike, which that season is airing right now.
Yeah.
And so Phil has a very short list of people that he refuses to ever play with. You're there now.
Oh no.
He won't play with you.
He won't. A high five.
But I've told Phil, I said, listen, trust me. Art, Justin, they're a tandem. They've got the best game inside Aria, best private game. I'm telling you right now, your initial reaction to Airball, because he would not play with Airball for a while, that was his. If you play with Art, you get to know Art, you will like him. I promise. And he said, Brent, all right, I'll take your word for it. But just know, there's very few people that I will not play with. Art was coming after me. He was upset. And of course, Phil lost that show. And he was not happy about it.
Not as much as I did.
Yeah. And then Humboldt Mike is the next one, which you guys saw. This one came out. Phil took the mic pack and smashed it off the table. And I mean, that was
a firm
iconic. Yeah. That one, I don't think I'm going to be able to get clearance because Humboldt was, I think Humboldt is amazing TV. He's great action. He says a lot of things, but he got under Phil's skin. I don't think there's any, hey, let's shake hands and let's get past this. The other one that I actually forgot about, Eric Person.
Yeah.
You remember Phil Hellmuth and Eric Person?
The heads-up match?
Heads-up match with the double bird.
Yeah.
Non-stop trash talk. Phil refused to ever play with Eric Person again. Stormed off, got a hold of Maury, got a hold of me, said, I'll never play with that motherfucker again. Do not bring me into a show. Long story short.
Until.
They get past it, shake hands. Phil realizes who Eric is, what he's all about, and they're fine.
Yeah.
You know, so You got a future. All right? You'll be fine with it.
right,
You know,
so
shake the hands.
I'm on the list of 3, and two of them have gotten past.
There's a very short list of who Phil will not play with because he felt like he was attacked.
Oh, he did say I was mean.
Yes,
sorry,
mean,
Phil.
and yeah.
He also said he'd come on this show. So I mean, if I have to stand over there in the corner,
he'll be on the show. He'll do it. I promise you, Phil Hellmuth will do this show. Phil, I know you will do this show. Phil and I, by the way, I'm quite close with Phil. I talk to him quite a bit, and I know that he will do this show. He loves this. He especially loves you, Justin.
I'm a
He
big fan of
hated
his
you
one.
at first,
Oh,
too.
I know that. I was about to bring that up, but I didn't know if Phil wanted that.
No, he did
brought to
not
light.
like you at first, and then he realized
I was on his short list for like a week.
This maniac plays every single hand, and but and then he realized, wait, I want to play with him every single chance I get.
Damn right.
Yeah, but no, he will. Phil Hellmuth will do this show. I will personally take responsibility and help book Hellmuth to come do the Table One podcast. Mark my words.
Hey.
He might not be the next guest, but he will be a future up and coming guest.
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Can't imagine him sitting here. Anyway, so
I will drive him here.
Oh my God.
I will pick him up and I will drive him here.
Tell him.
I'm your driver, Phil. Yeah, I will get you here.
Dude, that'd be great. Just have him sitting here, and like every couple minutes you come here, like, Phil, do you need anything?
I love Phil. I really do. I get that, he is who he is, but he's authentic. If I'm watching poker, I want to see this guy play. I want to see the greatness. I want to see the eruptions. The poker
He's an acquired taste.
I love Phil, but yeah.
He's a very acquired taste.
I don't even know if he's an acquired. I think it's just he taps into the rudimentary feeling of gamblers in general. Like a lot of the, I'm better than you. How am I losing to you? And like not having the filter like on top of it, where like you have to be like, no, let's just play nice and like just smile like, oh, nice hand. That's good stuff.
He is the
called
most
a race with
authentic.
Queen 10.
They just these guys, Phil, Daniel's another great example.
Daniel's
They are. This is just who they are. You don't have that breed for me. I mean, I think you guys are great examples, which is why your private game is so great. But that breed of just people is seemingly removed from poker. You don't have it anymore. The characters and what they are. Antonio's another one.
Oh my gosh, Antonio
I wish he played more,
great for
but
poker. Yeah.
God, I mean, this is just who they are. They're real people. This is their natural character. They're authentic, and I hope we get more of them along the way throughout poker. But we'll see.
I really hope so. Like I think with the information that's out there and like a bit of like the information boom in poker kind of like nullifies the ability for like people to be successful and entertaining at the same time.
And polarizing. Like don't get me wrong. People hate Phil. People hate Daniel, and that's totally fine. But they also love them at the same time, right? It's like politics. I mean, look at our channel. People are on one side or the other, and there's very little middle ground. But you want that. You want reaction. You want the hate. You want the love all at the same time because it makes great TV. Right. Even if you hate the guy, you're going to watch.
Yeah, no one's ever built a following by saying, "Oh, yeah, I could agree with that."
You're going to watch. When's the last time when? I didn't watch it. Like, let's use Trump as the example. When he did the on-screen interview or whatever it was, the debate with Biden. You might hate Trump. You might hate Biden. You're going to watch it.
Yeah,
it's like must-see TV. That's what it is for me when it comes to Daniel Negreanu and Phil Hellmuth. If they're playing, I'm in.
Yeah.
No, that's very fair. Yeah.
Super fair.
Anyway,
celebrity death.
I derailed it again.
No,
No,
it's turned into like reality TV a little bit, but like to the same point, like I think that's just where social media takes us or whatever. Like like. Watching like people tank for like 45 seconds over a turn decision and watch them take another minute and a half on a river decision, you just lose a lot of your audience. I'm not saying that's not entertaining to people that are like in the know and the know poker and super entrenched of like the GTO spots and all that. But sometimes, to your point, people just want to have a fucking beer and they want to sit back and they want to see a guy think for 2 seconds and be like, I check raise and just fucking fire out $60,000.
I just don't want. I don't want poker to become chess.
Yeah,
correct.
I mean, now we got the tools, technology solvers, which, by the way, shout out Occupy Poker. Part of that company, love their company, but they're making it much more accessible to casual fans because tools and tech isn't going anywhere. in poker.
That's true.
It's just not.
It's only going to get harder.
It's only going to get more difficult.
That's true.
So now how do you make it more fun? That's where Octopi Poker comes into play. Keep that in the show, please. Love that. Love those guys.
we do too.
But I also don't want poker to go down this avenue of becoming chess-like.
Right.
It's not. When's the last time you saw chess on CBS Sports or ESPN? How about never?
Yeah.
And it won't ever, because it's not entertaining. Yeah. When poker is not entertaining, it's game over. It has to be entertaining. People have to enjoy it, laugh, curse, whatever their emotional reaction is to the show. If that is removed and it just becomes robotic, solvers, decision makers, quiet, hoodies up, taking 40 seconds a decision, that's game over.
I agree. It's like playing that Battleship online stuff they used to do where it was like heads up.
It's game over.
But yeah. Like, I mean, the last time I saw chess on TV, by the way, it wasn't that long ago, but it was like
You have seen chess on TV?
Well, he's a nerd. He watched on YouTube.
I am a nerd, but like...
no, YouTube doesn't count. I'm talking like,
like
broadcast television.
This is like late night on ESPN. They on the Ocho, like
okay, all right. Well, I'm glad.
They had like chess boxing
I stand
on.
corrected.
Do you know what chess boxing is?
Okay, if it's chess boxing...
Well, I'm just saying, like, that's what they did.
There's a reason you come up with chess boxing, because chess sucks to watch unless you love chess. But chess boxing, now all of a sudden...
That's what I'm saying. Like, they were like, chess sucks to watch. How can we make this more interesting? And I'm sure some big Russian was like, I can beat that guy's ass. How about that?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Well,
there we go.
We'll make you guys box for a minute in between fucking moves. How about that? And they're like, I'm in.
It is, and I'm not trying to like...
What's your opening? Right hand, face one.
I understand that poker is so evolved, and there are so many elite players, especially when it comes to tournaments, that hit the highest levels, and it really is this mentally exhaustive, beautiful game that many of us will not understand what's running through their minds, you know? But that's not going to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be entertaining for the casual fans.
And let me just tie this back into our game a bit. Like, not only does it not sell to the public watching, flipping through the channels, you know who else it doesn't sell to? The recreational businessman that's coming into town that likes poker, but is intimidated by watching all these geniuses play every time. They want to come in.
It's not fun.
They want to feel welcome. They want to shoot the shit. They want to feel like they're playing the home game with their buddies for $25. Like, that's the feeling you want to bring back. And like what this show's about, what our private game's about, is more
make poker fun again.
Making the poker fun again. And that's what it is, because like it's a reminder of like, we got into poker for gambling initially. Like, it's not like I was 10 years old. I was like,
gambling with an edge. We can be very honest.
Fine,
like, you guys have an edge in games, you know? Like, that's why we all started, because we were winning money.
Right,
like,
of course.
Yeah.
But like the point is to, whatever, we're dancing clowns. We're the entertainment or whatever it is. Like, I mean, there's a reason why people want to come play. Like, it's, they can go play blackjack or craps for more money than that. And somehow they still choose poker because it's a beautiful game.
It's a great game. Anyway, I digress. Here we are. Now where are we going?
Never digress.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of the blackjack dealer like making fun of someone for like hitting on a 17 or a 19 or something. It's never happened, you know? It won't happen in our game if you decide to go all in with the 8-3
That's
off.
a great point. Yeah. When's the last time the casino was like, that's horrible, you moron? You know, like,
come on, we have GTO right over here.
Now there's gonna be a fucking Reddit forum about how this guy played this hand so bad because of SPR and all the range.
Exactly. Whatever. Everyone makes mistakes. Whatever. Like the last World Series main event, like people were like attacking Chrissy B or Chrissy Foxon or whatever over her play, and then like Brian Kim over his play, and it's like, I'm not saying like they're like supreme gamblers or anything like that, but they had a feeling, they had an instinct, and they fucking went with it. And I think that's beautiful. I loved it. I know it didn't work out, and like I'm not trying to like glorify like someone quote unquote punting or whatever, but like it was wonderful. As like a pure form of poker. You go with your reads, and like at the end of the day, all you have to do is look at yourself and be like, yeah, well, I just had a bad read. What are you going to do? It's okay.
Yeah.
They went for it. They had that whale mentality.
God, I'm not going to lie. I wanted Chrissy to win the main event.
Me too.
So
I
bad.
did too.
Oh, that'd been great.
So bad. Not just for fantasy purposes, as we shared a team, you know. But,
I do want to get into that, by the way. The last few years, Table One has, I wouldn't say sponsored. We've bought a chunk.
You've had a taste.
We've had a chunk of No Gamble, No Futures, 25K fantasy league, which you can buy a piece
Are
on.
you about to end this relationship right here on air?
I am not. No.
No, we're not going to Jason Mercier you right after a bad year.
Are you cutting us?
We're going to wait till you win.
Yeah, I was going to say, after we win, then you're going to drop
Exactly.
us.
Next year.
But no, it's the fantasy draft. I don't care what stakes you're in. You can buy a piece through what's Poker Shares? Is that right or
PokerStake?
PokerStake.
PokerStake.com.
Yeah, PokerStake.
PokerStake.com. Yeah.
Like you can like get in David Baker has his $250 league. Like I highly recommend you guys getting in some form of fashion because you get 6 to 8 weeks of sweating and waking up every day and getting to see where your players are. It is well worth whatever money you guys can.
And I do apologize, to the two of you, because I know you guys had a little action there. But
no, Dylan DeStefano was a great pick.
Our last pick with Dylan, which was my fault, was a punt. I thought.
Did he play a tournament?
He played
I think
3.
he played. He got more points than he played tournaments.
You know the plan. you knew the intended.
No,
plan.
I do. Yeah, I
He's a great player.
Jared Blesnick
he's
was
amazing.
our last guy on the board. My fear was if I nominated Jared Blesnick with one more round to come, that we could not afford Jared Blesnick, and I wanted him. So I thought, and I went a little too deep here, as an insider and some of these guys in the draft, if I nominated Dylan DeStefano
For $1.
for $1, people would automatically assume, oh, he must be playing a lot.
Great
Great no
knows.
limit player,
Yeah, he
great
is.
no limit player. Maybe he's playing PLO. He's going to put in a volume. I thought for sure someone would say, oh shit, if Hanks is not, if they're nominating this kid who we would never consider, he must be playing a lot, and we know he's good because he's
So you're
one of the,
bluffing.
I was bluffing.
Oh, but you got
No one
for
called
$1.
the bluff. And by the way, Dylan, this is not like I'm not trying to, down.
The only
great
fault
player.
of you're a
great player.
Great player. The only fault is you didn't play 80 tournaments. That's it.
Yes, good player. Our last pick was Jared Blesnick. No one was going to nominate him. I knew he was going to put in a full volume. I talked to Bles. I love Bles, and he was going to play everything. He almost won Player of the Year.
Yeah.
That was going to be our last pick, and we had the second to last pick in the entire draft. So one more round later, we were going to nominate Blesnick. We had like $3 to spare. We were going to get him because no one else would have had money. With 1 or 2 teams remaining, we had him covered.
Then what happened?
I'm
Ifs
sick
and
to
buts
my
were candies
stomach.
and nuts, we'd all have a Merry
Sick to
Christmas.
my- Had we drafted Bles, did you run the math yet? Did you look?
Of course not. It's like I don't want to be upset.
Don't look.
Oh my God, we would got
Money in
second?
pocket?
We could have beat the Dinkers.
We would have been top 3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it'd be third.
We would have been top 3.
I mean, that's like saying, "Oh, I'm like one of the top 8 players in this tournament." Like nobody that
Sounds
got
like you're
second
exactly
ever
it.
said that.
So
All right,
anyway,
we would have made money,
You know,
and you could have been cut. No,
and this is all part of the plan.
but either way, Table One's gonna be back on board next year. We will have.
Have a better draft.
Well, I mean, all I do.
don't know. You're going to be drafting you, so we don't know what we're going to
Exactly. I have no idea. I just like to show up.
Lead from the front, as
Like-
Jeff Platt would say. Accountability. This is on me. This
Lead
is
from the
on
front,
me.
that's good.
I thought I was sneaking one through. Thought it was clever. Lead from the front. This is on me, boys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to the two of you.
It's fine.
I'm sorry for this podcast. I'm sorry you invited me to waste 2 hours of your time to be here to drink your Coors Light inside this beautiful, this is gorgeous, by the way, the setup here, inside Table One.
That's right.
But yeah, this is, it's on me. If you don't air this, I understand.
No.
Some of it will be aired. Maybe not the whole 2 hours, but some of it.
How long are your episodes usually?
We cut out
75 minutes.
We cut out the bathroom breaks.
A lot of bad stuff we're going to have to cut out.
All right. So what about we've talked about the past. Let's talk about the future. Just a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
What I know No Gamble No Future is airing their current season, but like what's in the pipeline? What can you tell us? Give us a little inside scoop that you're allowed to say.
All right.
And then you can check with Maury if you're actually allowed to say.
I think I can say all of this, and I just will. We are filming we have 2 upcoming seasons of High Stakes Poker. We're going to be filming one in late August and one in late November. They will be, without a doubt, the best seasons of High Stakes Poker that we have seen in a decade. Cool. And I know this from the players that have committed thus far. Now, people are flaky, which you touched on earlier in the show, but I don't think that this particular group is going to bail, so we'll be all right there. We are working and developing a kickback, a revamp of a show. High Stakes Duel. That is coming back. We've been off the market, off the air with that show for quite some time, and we have a new, I don't dare say a format, but we have a new sort of idea and a twist that we're bringing back to High Stakes Duel. And I am currently working on who is going to play that, but it is basically, in short, going to be a winner take all, you don't quit until you say uncle format. Oh, wow. So there's no more like round 2, round 3. If you win 2 in a row, you're the champion. You now become the champion of High Stakes Duel when someone just says, I'm done. I quit. I give up. I will not play you again. And every round, the stakes continue to double and double and double.
The King of the Hill, baby.
It is very much King of the Hill sort of style.
That's intense.
Yeah. So that's a lot of sneak peek. No Gamma, No Future. We're going to be filming again later in the year, with a new season to come at the top of Q1 of 2025. So Justin, be ready, because I always come to you for every single season, which is per usual.
I'm in.
But we have a lot of really exciting stuff. So yeah, I think I can say all that without getting in trouble, which I do get in trouble a lot. But, you know.
Well, let us know later.
Anyway, we can edit it out in post. Years down the road.
Yeah, I'll clip it out after we get the bad review.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for doing this, dude.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Yeah, appreciate you. Yeah. Do you want a hug?
Yeah,
Let's get.
Sorry, Liz.
Yeah.
That's right. She knows about us. Yeah. It's okay.
All right, that's the pot.
That's it.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking.